Hello, MeDM here with some announcements. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who stopped by South Carolina Comic-Con. Chael and I had a blast meeting people and telling everyone we saw about Echoes of Krynn. Another big thank you to our sponsor Borderlands Comics and Games for making our appearance at Comic-Con possible and for their continued support of our podcast. Also, thank you to Buckle and Rose for their support. If you want some awesome handcrafted leather accessories, and who doesn't, you can find them at etsy.com/shop/thebuckleandrose. Wear your fiction. If you too would like to support Echoes of Krynn, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/echoesofkrynn. We have subscriptions for every budget, and if you want to be part of assuring the quality and continuation of our story, that's where to do it. We would also love to see you on Discord, so come and join us for chats about the podcast, fantasy gaming, or anything you want. We hope to see you there. Hail and well met, and welcome to Echoes of Krynn, Dragons of the Hidden Flood, a Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast set in the realm of Dragonlance. We'll begin our episode in just a moment, but first, our players.
Hello, I am Jade, and I'm the founder of Lawful Stupid RPG, and I am playing Tharin, the Dwarven Cleric of Shidare.
Hi, I'm Sukti Panda. I'm a Twitch streamer, and I play Teely Tumblewood, the Kender Bard.
Hi friends, my name is Samus. I am an opera singer, and I play Onweir, the human rogue and fallen Solemnic Knight.
Hi, I'm Chael. I'm not an opera singer. I'm a D&D super nerd, and I play Blip, the Gully Dwarf Barbarian Habope.
Hello, I'm Chops. I am a paranormal investigator, and today I'm playing Lhasa, the half-elven wizard.
Hiya, I'm Lindsay Rousseau, and I am a voiceover actor, host, and D&D Twitch streamer, and I am playing Monto Bubalina, the human fighter who resides in Urgoth.
And I'm Mr. Eager DM. I'm here to guide and to follow. Now, we invite you all to step with us into a world of fantasy. And for our time together, let imagination rule. Last time, plunging into battle in order to save Prince Jarvan from the strange enchantment found within the Hall of Figure, the adventurers defeated the remnants of the assassin forces, along with the Draconian known as Zamork, who managed to escape. As more clues were uncovered regarding the Tuskanvil Conservatory's past, the sound of Teely's playing of the inveterate lyre brought the Imperial Guard to the adventurers' location. As these guards come into the space where you all are, the immediate threat, of course, is that they all find themselves attracted to this plant in the same way that you have. But knowing that this could be a problem, you quickly intervene, keep them from throwing themselves towards this creature. Soon, oil and flame is brought. That, and especially Lhasa's magical powers, are able to make quick work of the remainders of this plant, which hisses and boils, and there is a high-pitched sort of as it disintegrates under the onslaught of fire. As soon as it dies, the scent changes from one of deliciousness and the sort of thing that brings up fond nostalgic memories to a putrid, rotting scent that makes you very sick to your stomach, and you must leave as quickly as you can or risk becoming violently ill. You are taken from this place, led through a series of winding, cavernous, tube-like tunnels. Eventually you find yourselves emerging into the sewers underneath the shelf of Gwynedd. From there, you find your way back up to the streets to discover that it is morning. The light is almost blinding as you emerge, feeling like you have been gone for many, many days. But it quickly becomes apparent to you that it's only been just about a day and a half since you have fallen down. There is a great deal of commotion around your recovery. Prince Jarvan is quickly taken from you along with Tullian Haxos. You are all taken under guard to a room in the Imperial Palace. Not a prison, not an uncomfortable room, but you are under guard and expected to remain where you've been taken. Food and water is brought. You are far more comfortable here than you were, but it is not lost on you that you're not quite sure what your status might be. Some of you, after all, are in town illegally. Some of you were also recently in prison, but you find yourselves in a safe place outside of the peril that you have recently been in.
I just think everybody wants you to make the death plant noise one more time. I think that's required before we actually go forward.
It's all one syllable. How did it go?
That's good. In case you ever forget, it's there for your reference.
We needed it to set the mood.
Can you believe that they've put us here like this? I mean, after all we've done, surely they don't mean to.
Rest, Lhasa. The Imperial Guards had no idea what happened down there. Tullian hasn't had an opportunity to give his report. I imagine once he relays what we did, we'll be free to go.
I feel like that should have been the first thing he did before they even put us in here. That's what you get from nobility.
The Emperor's son was gone for quite some time. I understand their concern. Assassins, betrayal. They're being careful. I understand.
Well, yes, of course they're being careful, but I've experienced these types of things before, in different ways, yes, but all it takes is one person to decide that we're... Well, perhaps you're right. I should just think on other things. That's what Aranathus would say. Focus on the here and now.
Indeed. A good practice is to not borrow trouble. We don't have any adversaries in front of us now. Let us just wait and see what happens.
Oh, now, perhaps, there's time to take a look at the lyre and the shield. Monto?
Yes.
You shouted several times. It seemed almost to ring. Is that right, or is my ears deceiving me?
The shield seemed to ring, is that what you say?
That's what it sounded like to me, anyway. Maybe it's the winds of magic. I can't be sure.
I am not sure about the magic of this, but if I am correct, this is indeed a shield that at one time belonged to a knight of Solamnia. It is quite possible that there is a special metal used for their renowned fighters, but I am more than happy to let you look at it.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind.
I will pick the shield up from the ground where it was laying and hand it over to Lhasa.
At this conversation, I'm going to retreat to a remote corner of the room.
Let's see now. I will take the shield in my hands. A great deal of hand-wringing before I claim it, and as I hold it, there's a bit of shaking and nervousness. I wipe the sweat from my brow and begin to intone some words. Inali, Inole, Ista. Slowly, a shimmering light will spread from my hands across the surface and encompass the shield. I'm trying to identify any nature that it may have.
As you cast this magic, the guards that are standing at the door, keeping a respectful distance from you all, but nevertheless present and watching you, look at each other nervously and take a few steps back.
You should be worried. He's burnt my beard a few times.
What is it that you have said?
These are the words of my people, but please, I need time to focus on this. It's hard with so many people. It's not important what the words are. I think mainly it's the intention, the thought. At least this is what I've come to understand, but the words of my people seem well suited to this type of magic.
Does that mean all your people are magic?
No, well, there are some who claim that, but no, I don't believe that to be the case.
Well, then how come you got magic?
This is a question I've asked many times myself. Maybe someday I will understand.
So if they're the words of your people and your people say them, so sometimes it works magic-wise and sometimes it doesn't.
Please. This is a discussion perhaps for another. I'll finish this and then I'll. Yes.
I will put my hand on Teely's shoulder. Come, I would very much like you to show me this lyre of yours. Perhaps make some music while we wait here.
Sure. I very happily follow along.
And then I'll whisper to her, he seemed very stressed out. I think we leave him be.
He did. He seemed very stressed. I haven't played like a full song on this lyre yet, so we can give it a try if you'd like.
I would like that very much.
This is actually a song that I wrote on the way to Gwynedd. It's called Rhymes Are Hard, a walking song by Teely Tumblewood.
I grab my lyre and very proudly plop one of my feet on a log and then rest the lyre on my knee as I begin to strum the invisible strings.
No logs in this room.
Dang it.
But I'm sure you can find something to put your foot up on.
A rock. Give me a rock. Is anyone bent over? I'm so nervous. I'm sorry.
Rhymes Are Hard, a walking song by Teely Tumblewood. Out in the world, just as foretold, no one by my side, just me. I follow the tracks and curious paths, new places to know finally. I skip and skip stones as the river flows, it babbles and burbles with glee. Trials ahead, for so I have read, adventures will come, wait and see. The mountains were fun, but now I've begun to wander in lands wide and free. A traveling singer on the path of Trap Springer, adorably clever is she. Can't go to Gwynedd, they don't want me in it, a silly mistake that must be. With stealthy disguises, no anger arises, my top knot is staying with me. It's fun to keep yapping, though no one is clapping, guess I'll admit I'm lonely. But I'll just keep on humming, a new day is coming, rhymes are hard.
That was lovely. Very lovely.
That was pretty much the cutest thing ever.
It was beautiful.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
That was adorable.
I like to think instead of putting my leg on like a log, I put it on the back of dinner.
How dare you?
With love. It's like pets with her
With
foot.
love!
I toddle over and sort of give Teely a little push with both hands. No, dinner mine, not yours.
Oh, you had to mention dinner. What's taking so long? I'm starving.
They brought us food.
I must have missed it.
You haven't been eating this whole time?
Blip ate it.
He's still hungry.
Blip, you can share friends. It's good to share.
It's very good to share.
Yeah, we could share dinner.
No.
Not like that, Farron. It's not funny. See, this is why she does not trust us.
Manto friend, I trust. You, no trust.
You have to understand that Blip takes everything literally. She does not understand this sarcasm and joking. So while it is funny to you, her people are not known for their humor, and therefore you just offend. And she really truly thinks that you want to eat her friend.
I know very well about gully dwarfs. Don't worry about that.
Then you should know you should not antagonize them.
My mouth drops and hangs open at this.
Your people don't have humor?
What's that?
You don't have jokes and laughs and fun times?
What? Blip, I've fun. Lip, have fun. I will reach down beside me and I'll pick up one of the leftover apples, give it a slight crunch, and as the juice runs down my arm, I will throw it across the room and watch as it splatters against the wall.
Very expensive vase.
See how great that was?
As your pig gallops across the room, skids to a stop right against the wall, and picks it up and looks back at you.
Dinner! No! That art! No! Fun! You know eat fun.
You hear me heave an enormous sigh in the corner.
You stop. I bath. I bath. I give Dinner a warning look.
Dinner looks at you, his eyes defiant. Makes another crunching sound as he swallows the apple.
Dinner! You come now!
He trots over to you, plops down next to you.
Good friend. I'll pet him on top of the head between his ears. Give him a little scritch.
Yes, that's good. Fatten him up.
Stare at Farron. I bonk.
So, if I was to tell you a joke, would you find it funny? Would you laugh?
I just stare blankly at Teely.
I just stare back.
If I was to say, Oh, okay, I got one. Ready? So, why was the musician kicked out of the tavern?
I stick a finger in my ear and scratch.
He was barred. See? Because he's like a bard. They're musicians.
That's a good one.
Just scratch my head.
Oh my god.
Have fun.
Do you see what I mean?
Lhasa, at around this time, your spell completes. What spell, pray tell, were you casting?
Identify as a ritual.
Excellent. Well, this shield has with it a small enchantment indeed. No doubt that is why it has remained untarnished for as long as it has. The effect is one of abjuration magic. It allows its wielder to have a little bit more resiliency against effects that could potentially frighten them.
Well, yes, I understand now. This is a wonderful shield, isn't it? It bears with it a magic that... The only thing I can say is the courage of heroes lies within this shield. That much I'm sure. It's abjuration, and I imagine you could stand against, well, the dragons themselves if you chose.
I always knew there was something special about what they did with their weapons and such, but I never knew magic would be a part of it. It is so rare.
Yes, this is a gift beyond anything.
Gift is dangerous.
I will look over at Farron and glare.
If wielded by those with good hearts, what danger can there be? I know it is powerful. I know it bears risk, but we cannot turn away from these things. Would you really reject what has been so graciously given by fate?
I agree. And I will gently take the shield back and look at it, polishing with my sleeve.
It is at this time the doors open, and Lhasa's master Aranathus glides into this room. He is tall and thin, with very light, almost white blonde hair that streams straight down his back, although the very top of his head is bald and utterly smooth. He has pale skin and gentle facial features that are framed by the long and tapered ears of full-blooded elves. He exudes a feeling like an aura of wizened gravitas, although there are no real signs of age on his face except perhaps within and around his very dark green eyes. He carries with him a long, delicate-looking carved staff that glows very slightly, almost completely imperceptibly, with yellow light. As he comes and stands before you all, he gives a slight bow and he says, Lhasa and Anwir and Farron are known to me, but I have yet to introduce myself to the rest of you. My name is Aranathis, and I stand here quite impressed. Despite my faith in my powers of foresight, I must confess to having some concern when I realized the full extent of the danger you were to face. But here you stand victorious, with the Crown Prince safely delivered back into his parents' care. The best possible outcome, insofar as what I gleaned from the strands of fate. Predictably, the Emperor and Empress are very, very grateful, and would like the opportunity to speak with all of you, if it is convenient.
Of course. It's good to hear that he made it as well.
You bring us great honor, my master. I thank you for your kind words. We were only doing as we must.
Lhasa, there is no greater honor for teachers than knowing their lessons have been well learned and well applied by their students.
There would be no other way.
He turns and begins to lead you back through the halls of the Imperial Palace to not the throne room, but a private chamber. One that is still luxurious, of course, but with a few less trappings of ceremony, more comfortable-looking furniture, a bit more privacy and intimacy. The Emperor and his wife are both standing as you come in. Emperor is wearing a luxurious golden robe. You can see his dark skin and his full beard and the braids on his head pulled back into a ponytail that goes far down his back. And his wife, looking still extremely fashionable, but not as formal. The Emperor puts his hands wide, acknowledging you all, and says,
Excellent, excellent. Here you all are, noble protectors. It is, of course, the duty of all to protect the imperial family with all of their might, but I still feel indebted to you. A rare sensation for me, which only serves to heighten my gratitude. Accept an emperor's thanks for safeguarding the Crown Prince, my son. Strenna the Empress steps forward. For those of you who've already met her, she has rarely spoken, and her manner and movement have always been almost ritualistic in their gentleness and subtlety. Here she seems far more engaged, standing alongside the Emperor. She steps forward, her movement much less restricted by her clothing, as she's not currently wearing the palla that is usually worn by all noblewomen in Gwynedd. You can see that she is wearing a gold-trimmed robe as well, and her dark hair is in a loose fishtail braid that falls over her shoulder. She gives a very deep curtsy. At this moment, I am no queen. I am a mother. Therefore, please accept the mother's thanks, which is, I assure you, more heartfelt than any I have ever given, and more precious than any reward I could bestow as a sovereign.
It may please my lord and my lady to know your son acted with bravery and courage.
I scrunch my face up at this.
I nod my head.
How is the wee lad?
He's resting. Tullian is still by his side. Both of them have told us many things, enough to know that you are special people indeed. But I would still hear the details from your own mouths.
Perhaps, if I may, my lord. Where should we begin? Do you prefer us to start at the beginning, or perhaps you would like to hear the highlights of these things first?
Each of you in turn. I have the entire rest of the day free. We will have food and drink and storytelling.
Yes. Thank you, my lord.
Your Majesty, before we dive into all of that, I don't know about the rest of you, but I would very much like a bath and some clean clothes before we dive into what is going to be a very, very, very long story.
Indeed. Wise words, young man. Wise words. You are Manto, I take it?
Yes. And perhaps if your Majesty would be so kind as to return items that were taken from myself and my companion, and I point to Blip.
Yes, of course. Thaunus. He turns, and unseen up until this point by all of you, a man who was in a far corner in a shadow steps forward, wearing a red robe. He has tan skin, but not nearly as dark as the rest of the Argothians. He is wearing a diadem that has in its center a multicolored opal. Pulls his robe back to reveal a completely bald head. He has a dark goatee. Some of you may recognize him. He was first introduced to you very briefly the first time you met the Emperor. He steps forward, and the Emperor says, "Will you see to it, Thalmus?" Thalmus bows and says, "Of course, your majesty." Walks to the door entering this room, opens it, speaks briefly to somebody outside, closes it, and then returns to his position in the corner.
He's definitely the big bad evil guy.
Ah, yes. I must learn not to subvert expectations. At your words, Manto, of course, the Emperor does excuse you to go and take care of whatever you need to take care of. He extends that courtesy to all of you. And presently, you become aware that you actually have quarters here in the palace. Those of you who already did, your rooms have been slightly upgraded with more servants. Those of you who were not here before, you find yourselves in luxurious quarters, provided clean clothing, a bath if you should so want it, the traditional garments of the Gwynedd nobility, the toga, the pala, depending on what suits your fancy, or you are welcome to continue wearing your own clothes. All he asks is that you return when you can to continue your story. As the day progresses and gets towards evening, and the stories mostly finish, the Emperor stands, puts his hands together, claps, says, "Excellent, excellent. And now, I get to engage in one of my favorite activities as Emperor, and that is rewarding those whom I think deserve rewards. At the very least, I could offer you all 200 steel pieces each. In addition, I would like you to stay as my guest in the royal palace for this week, and, if it suits you, join me and my family for breakfast every morning. My son Jarvan has taken a strong liking to you all. You should have heard him go on about your activities in the ruins below. As he considers you all friends, I feel it is my responsibility to know you all better also. So please, come, join me. We will get to know one another as friends. And finally, I have decreed that at the end of this week, there will be a grand game ceremony at the Foro Circus, honoring you all. After which, I may be able to find more permanent use for you all as members of my household. If you are willing, of course.
I raise my hand.
Does that include me?
He turns. Each time you've spoken throughout this day, there's always been a curious expression on his face. Now that you say that, he turns to look at you directly, Teely. He puts his hand up and strokes his beard thoughtfully.
I do puppy dog eyes with a big grin, kind of swinging back and forth on my toes.
a truly unique circumstance in Gwynedd. There are not many in this city that appreciate change. Often when it comes, it does so violently. But when extraordinary circumstances present themselves, it often leads to extraordinary opportunities. Yes, this could work very well. We will have it known. A Kender not only gave an excellent performance in the opera, but was also instrumental in saving the Crown Prince from vile assassins. That should be enough to ensure that you are welcome by anyone who would care to raise an eyebrow about your presence here in our fair city. Dalmas, will you see to it? Once again, the red-robed man steps forward and bows and says, "Of course, your majesty."
Oh, you are so ominous. I love it.
No more hiding in my closet. Hey, Teely.
All right, it's so good moving on up in the world. They love me.
All right, sit your backsides down. It's time for a commercial.
What's a commercial, Farron?
Well, it's a special shout-out to those who look after us, you see. In this case, it's when dwarves come together, share our trinkets and collections. Imagine sacred role-play games, collectible cards, miniatures, and even a dwarf's favourite, comic books. Everything you can think of to keep our hearts aflame with the spirit of adventure.
Farron?
Oh, yes, my dear.
You're acting really weird. But where'd you get all this cool stuff? I mean, did you steal it from a dragon's hoard?
What? Absolutely not. The cheek of it. Kender's accusing me. I buy all my treasures from Borderlands comics and games. Incredible merchant.
Ooh, does this merchant by chance have a stall in the market square of Gwynedd? Oh, and do they have, those, action figures or statues?
Oh, no, girl, they're not in Gwynedd.
Oh, yes, Farron. I know just the kind she means. But, if not Gwynedd, then where?
They're not from here at all, actually. But they do have just what you described. The merchant can be found in the realm of Greenville, South Carolina. You can also use a sending stone. See if they have just what you're after. Some bizarre, untrustworthy, magical thing, probably of gnomish invention, can deliver it.
Ooh, I love gnomes, although I can never understand them.
But lucky for you, they're human, just like Anwir and Manto. But they are much more approachable and friendly than our one-armed archer. The prices are great. Imagine just your silver and not your steel pieces. Their shop is very clean and inviting, and they even welcome small folk and have a special area just for them.
Like me and Blip?
Absolutely not.
Oh, no, Teely, come now. Farron clearly means children. You know, and also those small men that come from the 41st millennium. Something about a warhammer, I think. And well painted, too.
Oh, so we can't go?
Well, only if Anwir takes you both. He'll love that. We'll just have to message them beforehand. No doubt they will have a no Kender and Gully Dwarf policy.
Ooh, I love this one.
No touching.
And this comic
Put
book.
them back.
Ooh, what's this golden
Pikachu
card?
gone?
Oh,
Get your
Teely,
wandering hands
look.
off them. Is that my mint
so
code at
shiny.
number
They-
I thought
23?
maybe all
Magic
this would be
cards.
too valuable for you
You
to
rolled a
carry.
spine.
So really, you
And-
should
oh,
drink
oh,
Visit Borderlands Comics and Games in Greenville, South Carolina. Read, build, play. Find them at borderlands.us on the web and Borderlands CG on Instagram.
Please tell them Farron True Silver sent you.
Lhasa, you had things that you wish to touch on?
There are many things, my lord, of course you know, that we experienced. But I must stress the importance of the things we saw more than anything else. There is so much history underneath our feet at this moment. Those rooms are yet unstable. It may be a danger to some, but in my mind, these are things that must not be forgotten. These are ruins from before the time of the Cataclysm. We have an opportunity now that none have had in so much time. And not only that, but your son, and all of us. As the glass dome above us collapsed, and it awoken from its ancient slumber, once more returning to reclaim that which it did not claim. We escaped. We are survivors just as they were, and I would see their works preserved, if we can.
Ostrena steps forward, smiles warmly at you. She is not as darkly skinned as her husband, but obviously still Ergothian. She wears her necklace that has the single diamond in the middle of it. She comes forward and says, "Indeed, I am very interested in preserving this history as best we can. We have some experts here in Gwynedd, most notably the curator of the Imperial Arcade. I will speak to him and make sure that this is handled as properly as it can be." The Emperor raises a hand and says, Yes, important, of course. I thought that you were going to mention the Draconian. Surely that is the most sinister part of your story. Where this creature came from and where it is gone. These are questions that I will be pondering.
Yes, I apologize, my lord. When it comes to the histories and other intriguing subjects, I forget important details. This is a failing that I will correct, and will not make again in your presence.
Oh, please. Not a failing by any stretch of the imagination. You're too hard on yourself. This is a day of triumph. Forces of evil and darkness attempt to steal what is the most precious. And you have prevented it. I will not forget it.
Do we know who they were?
That is being examined. It seems clear that they were members of this Arms of Venas, a group of malcontents who have, before now, simply been a nuisance with vandalism and the odd public display. This, however, constitutes a far more dire circumstance, and will therefore warrant a more dire response. I am sorry that it has come to this, but I see little choice in the matter.
One of the assassins did mention the Draconian's name, but I can't remember from all the battle.
Yes, Tullian did mention the name. He said he thought it was Zemork. To my knowledge, and I would hope that I would know, that is the first sighting of a Draconian within the walls of Gwynedd ever. A dire omen.
I'd like to make an insight check on everything that he just said in terms of his suspicions and who he blames.
Go right ahead.
That's a 22.
He doesn't seem to be knowledgeably lying about anything he just said, but he may not be revealing all that he knows or all that he suspects.
I'll leave it alone for now.
Is there anything else?
Well, I did have a gift for you. But obviously with everything that happened. It was actually for your son, but all my stuff was in my room.
And I reach back to a pouch that I'm now wearing after obviously redressing for the occasion. And I pull out a small wooden ornately carved box and hand it over to the Emperor. And when he opens it, it is a small, almost like a penknife size, and it's made of extremely rare dragonmetal, which is magical.
Well,
this is a gift from Forbardin. It was for the prince.
He takes it from you reverently and nods. Would you like the opportunity to give it to him yourself?
Well, of course. Is he recovered?
He is sleeping, but I'm sure he will recover shortly. Children usually do. And especially when he seems to be, other than a few scrapes and bruises, completely unharmed. After what you all experienced, a miracle indeed. I suppose you know all about miracles, Master Farron.
Well, I wasn't lying. The clerics are there. I am one of them, so I am one of Shannare. And there's not many of us around at the moment, but we're obviously trying to spread the word of each of the religions.
Well then, you are welcome to see what we have to offer in Gwynedd. As far as I know, you are the only true cleric. Such your services will be much in demand, unless you wish to remain anonymous.
There's no reason for me to remain anonymous.
We will speak more on this at another time. I thank you for indulging me. Please, enjoy your time in the Imperial Palace. If there's anything you need, do not hesitate to ask. I may call upon you for more information as the thought occurs to me, but I do welcome your presence at my table each morning for breakfast, an honor that few have. I usually take breakfast only with my family.
It's an honor. I definitely, for one, do not miss breakfast.
Well then, until we see each other again.
As the Emperor is leaving, I will step to his side in private at the doorway and say, "My lord, your gift, the festival, all incredibly generous. But unlike Farron, I do wish to remain anonymous. I mean no insult to what you offer, but I'm afraid I cannot take part in the festival next week."
I understand. The longer I live, the more I wonder if the only true hallmark of age is how many secrets one must bear. You are welcome to keep yours, and I will not pry, out of respect for what you have done.
That is the greatest gift you have yet given me. Thank you.
DM, I have a question before we move on. Gwynedd and Urgoth are very classist in that there is not usually much mingling between the lower classes and the upper classes.
Indeed.
I am assuming this would be a point of concern for Monto, but wanted to clarify that with you before I tried to bring it up.
It is unusual, to the point that if it were anyone other than the Emperor instigating it, it would be unheard of.
Right.
Large changes, large reforms in the past have been met with severe obstruction, to the point of assassinations.
Okay.
However, make an insight check for me, Manto.
Uh-huh. That is a 15.
There is more going on here. The fact that you have all done this incredible favor, it would be expected for the Emperor to be grateful. On the other hand, it is every citizen's responsibility to see to the safety of the Emperor and the Imperial family. Not necessarily with the expectation that they would be grateful, but what you are being given, or this opportunity that you have, this is extraordinary. The Emperor is using every bit of his authority to create this circumstance. It occurs to you that there might be an ulterior motive.
As I see Onweir walk away, I will also walk up to the Emperor on our way out. And My lord, I am very much appreciative of what you're offering. However, I do not feel that I would be well received at such a festival. As you can see by my markings and have probably heard of my battles in the pits, I come from a very humble background.
There are ways around such things. If you do not wish to participate for your own reasons, I understand, but how would you feel about becoming a member of the Imperial Guard?
It would be an honor, my lord. But could I possibly talk with my father about it first?
Well, of course. He would need to be present at such a ceremony at any rate.
And he would be able to come to this festival as well?
I would be honored if he would sit with me and my family.
Then I will speak with my father, and I will have a decision to you by then. I stand there, my mouth slightly agape, not really sure what else to say, and I do a really awkward bow, because, you know, I've never had to really bow for nobility before. I've never been around nobility. I'm just like, and like start backing out.
Manto, if you make a habit of doing extraordinary things, you will need to learn to expect extraordinary rewards.
Well spoken, Your Majesty. I look forward to breakfast.
As we're walking out, we'll keep a very straight face, but unavoidable. The tears will begin to roll down my face, to stain the front of my robe a bit.
Oh, Lassa? You alright?
Yes. Yes, I'm quite all right. I did not expect kindness like this from someone so much above us. I did not know that. Can it be true?
Of course it is.
Perhaps you're right, but yes, perhaps you're right.
People are good. It's just the way we are. And he's really happy that one of his, 5 sons is okay?
Dearly.
I think it's his youngest born. Of course he's gonna be happy that we saved him. And, you know, he's got this big house, this castle. He's got rooms to spare.
Yes, but...
He probably just wanted an excuse to throw a party. And I mean, who doesn't want company for breakfast? Gets lonely.
Teely, he's got 1 son.
No, it's Jarvan the 5th. There's 5.
Yes. He's the 5th one.
It's the 7th, isn't it? It's the 7th, Jarvan.
Oh, is there 7? 7 Jarvans?
The Emperor is Mercardio Riddick V, and his son is Jarvan Mercardio Riddick VI.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a terrible memory. F-.
There's 6. He's got 6 sons.
No, dear. The Emperor is the 5th Emperor. The son will be the 6th Emperor. He's the only son.
There's 5 emperors? Where do they keep them?
Oh my God, you're as thick as a gully dwarf girl.
Excuse me, I have been watching my figure. Okay.
Blip, I'm not thick.
You're curvaceous.
Ugh. Put another chicken leg in your mouth.
Hey, there is no call for the rudeness, okay? What I say, she does not understand the sarcasm and such. You must be literal. Blip, feel free to ignore Farron. He does not always say what he means.
Why he talk?
That is a very good question. And I just look at Farron.
I utter yet another deep sigh.
I'm trying to explain to Teely that the boy is the only boy. He hasn't got any more.
Farron, just because you've only seen one doesn't mean there's only one. It's a thing called object permanence.
My dear, while you were around sneaking around the chambers
Yes.
and the hallways,
Uh-huh.
I've been here for months. It's just the one boy. And when he becomes Emperor, he'll be called Jarvan the 6th.
He's already Jarvan the 6th.
I'm going to go lay down.
Teely,
Does that mean we're gonna have a sleepover?
it does not.
Because I was thinking we could have one, because even though us having our own rooms is really cool, it's gonna get kind of lonely, and we've been so used to having a good time together over the last day.
Good night, Teely.
Good night.
Well, Teely, I know you wanted to perhaps inspect the lyre further, and, well, would be nice to have company, I think.
I agree.
And I raise my arm to hook it around Lassa's, and I begin to merrily skip in a direction, probably the wrong one, to where I think our room is.
You follow Teely for about 5 minutes before it dawns on you, Lassa, that she seems to just be moving wherever the spirit takes her. You go up a few flights of stairs and down a few more before you think to ask someone where you are meant to go, and then you are shown to a wing where honored guests are housed. all of you are staying in relatively the same area. You have a common room that is there for you to sit if you want to be someplace that's slightly larger, that is away from your private quarters. There are some books on a shelf there for you. There is food and servants everywhere who are more than willing to do whatever it is you desire, within reason. So, now, Anwir.
I would probably be attempting to be stealthy about this because I don't want to interact with anyone else right now. I'd like to leave my room and go to Lassa's room and listen at the door to make sure that someone else isn't there.
All right, please make both a stealth check and then a perception check.
Oh, well, I'm not great at either of those at the moment. I got a 9 on my stealth and a 10 on my perception.
So as you step out of your room, there is immediately a slight throat clearing nearby.
Master Anwir, is there anything that you require? Please.
You see a small young woman with dark skin, her hair very tightly pulled into a ponytail. She's wearing pala and has a very subservient mien to her.
Yes. Take a break. Relax. You've done so much.
Take a what?
A rest. Time for yourself. I need nothing.
Oh. Yes. Thank you. If you do ever require anything, there is no need to step out of your room. There is a bell by your bed. If you ring it, I or one of the other servants will come very quickly.
I saw.
You are honored guests of the Emperor.
Is there a food item you're not often allowed as a servant here?
I am not sure what you mean.
I'll make it plain. Fetch something you would like to eat for yourself. Say it's for me. Then go into my room. Enjoy it. I will be out for at least 20 minutes.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, don't I have an advantage? Can I bless myself? All right. -1 charisma. Son of a... I got an 8.
She looks confused and then smiles and nods. Of course, sir.
She steps away and stands quietly, not too far away, giving you your space.
Damn. All right, at Lassa's door, what do I hear with a 10?
Lassa, would there be anybody else in your room other than yourself?
No, I don't believe so. Not at this moment.
Then, Anwir, you hear nothing.
I will softly knock at his door.
Yes? Who is it?
It's me, Lassa.
Oh, yes. I'll quickly get up, head to the door, and open it. Please, do come in.
I look around the room and I look for a chair. I kind of rub my hand on the back of my neck, a little sheepishly, and I sit down.
Is everything all right?
Sit with me for a moment, Lassa.
Yes, of course. And I'll bring over another chair and sit.
When we met, you implied that you dabbled in magic, but Lassa, I watched you alight an assassin with nothing but your bare hands from across the room. I've never seen anything like it. Does it ever frighten you, having that much power at your disposal? It frightened me.
I don't make eye contact. I tend to look away as I speak about this. Well, when it comes to magic, I suppose... How do I explain this? The winds filled me like a sail, and at times I thought that tempest would sunder my soul. And I suppose, perhaps it may have in some ways. But no, fear is perhaps the wrong word. Does one fear the tide? No, surely they respect it. They understand it. Does one not shelter from the squall? Does not mean they fear it. No, I suppose I don't fear it.
And what do you wish to do with that power as it grows?
I don't know that anyone's asked. It's not about what I wish. Never has been. It's not for me to decide. I am an instrument of the people. I will bring them honor, I will bring them glory, and I will keep them safe. This is my duty. I will accomplish this. Should I fail to do so, if I cease to be as they require, then I suppose I too will cease.
You put so much weight on your shoulders, Lhasa. You have a good heart. You will do good things with your gifts.
Yes. This is what is needed. This is what is required. I must do these things, or I will prove them right.
Prove them right?
Maybe it is not the same for you. I have always been shunned by my people, but I will not let it bow me. I know what I must do. I know who I must be. I will show them. I am just as worthy as any. I may not be an elf like them. May not be a human like you. But I will be something of value to the people. I will be. This I swear.
Lhasa, you already are. Sometimes, when the people we think we're supposed to belong to turn us away, you have to go and find a new set of people. You may leave one group you think to be your biological family, so to speak. It's then you have to go find your logical family. You see me rub my leg nervously. Lhasa, during the opera performance, when I walked out and you came to check on me and I told you to go back, you said, "Everybody sends me away. You need to understand it had nothing to do with you. It was a Solemnic Knight who mutilated me, Lhasa. Est Solaris Orthmkithas was the last thing I heard before his sword came down upon me. So to hear it from the stage, the reason that I was on the ship where we met just a couple weeks ago is because I was trying to put as much distance between myself and my past as I could. I've been running for a long time. I've spent the last several months alone. When you approached me on the ship, I didn't want to talk to you, but I did. I didn't want to follow you, but I did. Lhasa, I didn't want to trust you, but I do. And it's because I trust you, I'm going to tell you. My name is not Onweir. My real name is Enio. I am a Solemnic Knight. I don't know why I feel compelled to tell you this now, but please understand, Lhasa. I'm not sending you away. I'm just trying to learn how to be around people again. Forgive me.
As I hear all of this, I once again feel my face wet with tears. Why do you apologize? What is there to forgive? Why is it always you that must lift me? Won't you allow me to lift you this once? Do you think I will let you fall? Please, no. As you said, we choose our family, and you, well, maybe I can't say it yet, but I'll stand up from the chair very suddenly and wrap my arms around you.
It takes me a while to respond, but eventually I raise my right arm and clasp it around your shoulder.
Please, don't feel the need to be alone. I know, but I don't know how it is for you. Just know I'm here. That'll sit back in my chair. With my people, there's always a separation. They tell me the humans cannot be trusted, The dwarves have their own troubles, and the Kinder theirs. But I've met them now. I've seen them, and I don't understand. They are all people. They all have their ways, and they all have their places. And they all mean well. How is it that a whole group of people can be dismissed so easily, so callously? How do they close their hearts like this? Can they not see that they live just as we do?
I think it's easier to bring a group of people together through hate than it is to bring them together through love. If you can strive to be an exception, then you will do great things in this world, Lhasa.
I just hope that they will soften their hearts someday. I am so weary of it.
Then take solace in the people that you care about, that are near you. Let that be your world. Because no one man can shoulder the problems of everyone.
You would do well to remember your own words, Inio.
That is all I came to say, Lhasa. I should rest. Thank you. You've given me a gift greater than the Emperor ever could.
No gift. Only truth.
Sleep well, brother. And you'll see me cock a very slight smile as I let myself out of your room.
As you start to get up to leave, I'll place a hand out. Wait. I have to know. How do you feel about magic? I understand mistrust, and its presence is ever at my throat.
Magic is something I don't understand, Lhasa. But like any power or influence, it's not the thing itself that is good or bad, that should be trusted or mistrusted. It's the person who wields it. I trust you.
Perhaps someday more will understand that, as you do, but that day is not yet. So I wish you good rest, so that when we face that day, we will be ready.
Together. And I will shut the door behind me.
That brings us to the end of this episode. As always, thank you for listening. If you want to help ensure the continuation and quality of this podcast, please consider becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/echoesofkrynn. And if you just feel like chatting, come and join our Discord page. Until next time, Esularis Oath Mythos. Farewell.